Maine is going to stay connected to a national database designed to protect election integrity. Secretary of State Shanna Bellows says the state will remain in ERIC, which stands for the Electronic Registration Information Center. That's an exchange among states to share voter registration data. But 5 Republican-led states are leaving ERIC, including Florida, where a lot of Mainers retire.
ERIC is the best way that we have to fight fraud. It is the only way we can know if someone has registered in another state, voted in another state, or it's not the only way we will know if they've died in another state, but it's a very cost-effective way to immediately get that information and use that information to clean our own voter rolls.
New Hampshire is among the states considering joining ERIC. Several states, including Florida, as well as Missouri, West Virginia, Louisiana, and Alabama, all say they are quitting ERIC. Bellows says conspiracy theories and disinformation about ERIC's funding sources are the reasons why.